Wow, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We haven't done this in like at least 2 months. Let me preface it up. It is currently 1 a.m. It's Saturday night, so it is also Monday morning. I would assume people will not be pulling into this live stream here, but I don't know, dude. This is Let's Talk Football episode number 20. Um, I found that kind of interesting because I really was surprised we've done 20 of these live streams. I love talking football. We've been trying to make more NFL videos with like my face and just kind of riffing off the dome, which is always kind of like hot or cold or kind of like a win-lose situation because you can't please every 32 teams in the NFL. But it's July 28th. I just turned 26 a few days ago. Um, I made an alt channel, which is like kind of a vlog channel. I'll put that link down below once this is post live. As some of you may know, you could technically listen to this on Spotify or Apple. This one maybe is going to be a little bit more personal, but throwing in is in here. I just turned 26 and what's up, Shift God? I don't know, dude. I've got this alt channel. My last YouTube video, I was talking about how I had a golf company. I don't know if you guys even know I've got a golf company. I guess that's just a painting. This is my golf company right here, Golf Balling. You could follow it on any social media platform. A few years ago, I got taken down and I got my account stolen. And it's been a very difficult climb back in the golf world, I should say. And I had a similar instance losing an Instagram account that was very special to me. I'm Just Culture. We had probably 300,000 followers, and I got taken down for no absolute reason. And it just kind of made me that, and my birthday being here, 26 is literally insane. It had me looking more introspectively, and the live streams, like just live streams in general, has always kind of been my bread and butter. And like I said, I don't know if you've even noticed, there's been more face videos on this channel. And I don't like clickbait. I don't like um clickbait, but at the same time, I am more of an optimistic person. I'm more optimistic with National Football League because I'm a diehard Green Bay Packers fan, and even taking a team like the Chicago Bears, my biggest rival and where I was born and raised, like at 26, man, I don't like coming onto the microphone and ranting about negativity with various football teams because to be quite honest, and people say it's clickbait, and to be just quite honest with you, that's not how I view sports. That's not how I view the NFL. I just love football. I just love sports, no matter what the team is. And like I said, I feel like live streaming has kind of always been my bread and butter. And for some reason, it's not what we do on this channel anymore. And it's just very odd. And I feel like I kind of psych myself out on these, and I'm thinking to myself, like, maybe it's not interesting, or, I don't really have anything new to say. And we have the NFL season coming here in just a handful, like literally like next week. I feel like there's live preseason football. And like I said, I love sports. I love the NFL and I love preseason football. I don't really care. So I know this is going to be a live stream slash podcast where there's probably not going to be any live viewers, or if there is, it's going to be few and far between because it's 1 a.m. Eastern time on literally Sunday night slash Monday morning. And I would love live comments. I would love, if anyone has any comments, sports or life related, let me know in the chat. But we do this as a podcast. And for some weird reason, this is our 20th iteration of Let's Talk Football. For some weird reason, I still like until today, I viewed it as like a podcast. Like, okay, I want to make a football podcast and I want people to be able to listen to in the gym or on their drive to work or just enjoying it on television because there's so many podcasts in the world that I like or vloggers or whatever that I just like. And so I made that alt channel. I'll put the link down below, or if you want to search it, it's just Will Upton alt. It's kind of embarrassing to me because I feel like it is relatively raw and authentic, and maybe it's a little too authentic. I do just want to say, hopefully there's no loud noises here. I am working on this background. What's up, Kerm? How you doing, brother? I appreciate you pulling up. I'm working on this background here. Like I said, I've got a golf podcast, a golf company. We've done about 273 podcasts in the last few years. I'm 26, as I keep mentioning. I'm born and bred in Chicago. I don't love my flag. And I don't really even love the Aaron Rodgers jersey. And it's not that I don't love Chicago or Aaron Rodgers Jets jersey. It's just more of like I'm old and I feel like it needs to be refined. So I do have a beautiful piece of the Florida Keys because I live in South Florida. And when I was in Key West a year ago with the lady, I bought that painting, or I don't even know if it would be considered a painting, art. And I've got two other things. So this wall right here is going to change here. And like Flash Gordon saying here, I don't really have any hot takes, to be quite honest with you. I can develop some hot takes here if I do need to be. Like I said, more of an optimistic fan, so getting hot's a little bit tough. But I do appreciate you, Flash and Curl, pulling up. Like I said, when I do these live streams, like I said, and I'll say this again, hopefully the last time of this stream, because we're 7 minutes in and I've been rambling. I feel like when I do these, it's a little bit more orchestrated, and that's not who I am. And that's certainly not how I cover the National Football League, and that is certainly not how I do anything in life. So I want it to be a little bit more raw, but it might take a little bit of time. You know what I'm saying? So we got Cowboys talk here from Kerm in the chat. I had something for the hot takes here, and this is pretty much based on, I'll pull it up on the screen. Oop, hey, get out of there. I've got my whole golf stuff in the background, so let me get rid of that. Let's go fruit salad, and let's pull up this thing on the stream. Like I said, you got any comments, you got any takes, life, football does not matter in any way, shape, or form. Let me know, and we will address that. I need to get a better football stuff here. I got Justin Fields. For some reason, you can't even see it. We're at 1 bar of Wi-Fi. Hopefully that means it's okay. Maybe we'll go tropical summer because it's the middle of summer. We got Bronco Todd in here. What's good? Shift God. Except for Thursday, good to see our rookies in action. Rookie wide receiver. I do have like random info on the Detroit Lions. I've got a Detroit Lions channel. I've got like probably 8 YouTube channels, and when I was probably in my last semester of college, I made a Las Vegas Raiders page because Devontae Adams got traded there. I made a Chicago Bears page with my buddy because I was born and bred in Chicago. And I made a Tampa Bay Buccaneers channel because I was about to move in my head to Florida. And like I said, I did move to Florida, and I actually do live in the Tampa Bay area now. But then in the last few years, I've made a Vikings channel and I've made a Lions channel. And because I hate editing and all of that fun stuff, I have not posted on any of those channels in way too long. So I do just want to say, for any Lions fans watching this, it's called like the Lions Den, but I do have fresh Detroit Lions content on the way outside of this YouTube channel. So we'll just say that. We got a first take in here. The Broncos win the West. I'm huge on Denver, man. I really am a Bo Nix believer. I'm kind of upset. NFL film, you can get like NFL Plus for I think it's like $15, and you can watch all every game. You can watch like a full game replay of any game, and you can watch all 22, and you can watch all that fun stuff. But they also launched a feature last year where you could like I could look up Bo Nix and we could just watch every passing touchdown he threw last year. And I'll just confirm it here on stream that that does not exist. I'm hoping it's just because maybe they're not showing 2024 film. I'll even show it on screen here. But this was awesome. I was trying to watch my man Jordan Love play some football the other day, and it did not exist. And I was very upset. And oh, here we go. Here it is on screen. And it made me upset. And so we kind of have the same situation here. And like you kind of see on screen, passing yard 0. It's got his 2025 stats. So I'm hoping usually when you zoom down where we are on the screen right now, you have like passing touchdowns. You have for a quarterback like throws over 20 plus yards. I think you have completions. You've got passes versus blitz. You've got passes versus non-blitz. You have like 4 or 5 fun little things that you can watch as far as film goes. And that is gone now. And I'm hoping that's just because the season is over. Let me adjust this here. But I'm a big believer, as they say. I'll even pull up the Denver Broncos depth chart and we can talk about it a little bit. But I'm doing this thing on TikTok right now where you can follow it. I think it's Will Upton NFL. I'm doing a record prediction for all 32 teams in the NFL. I've only done Arizona and Atlanta. I'm going in alphabetical order. So I was going to, 112 here, but I was going to do Baltimore tonight just to keep that going. So we're getting closer to Denver Broncos, but my buddy Swag, he's got a daily Broncos channel. I would drop his name, but I am not 100% sure that I remember it. And why do we have a Lucy thing on here? Come on, man. Get out of here. I've said it a lot. I think Evan Ingram was a huge ass addition. J.K. Dobbins is cool as well. Obviously, Dre Greenlaw, Hufanga. They got Barron, who I remember Jade Barron was like a top 10 pick for a long period of time. But maybe we'll go back to this. Like I said, keep throwing up some stuff in the comments because everything I had planned is more so like just assuming no one's going to pull up to this stream because it's so late at night. So I'll pull it up here. It's a Bleacher Report article from Brad Gagnon, and they're doing betting odds, which I don't really love because I feel like people, I don't know, I feel like young kids especially overdo betting, as I've done in the past, and it makes me feel like a bad influence. So maybe disregard that because they're doing like DraftKings. I do like a friendly bet, and I do even like a nice little bet. But my bets are more like I would throw a 1 on like, just on the screen, Arizona winning over 8.5. Like if it makes sense, it makes sense. Throw a little $50 on it, whatever, and move on. But I know way too many people spend all their money on betting. So I got Buffalo or Baltimore coming out of the AFC. Yeah, and so I was about to do a Baltimore video. It's really interesting because the AFC with Patty Mahomes no longer really being like, I feel like this is like, fuck, dude. I need my mom bought me a ring light, but I gotta figure out how to. That's so funny to even just utter out loud. I gotta figure out how to work that. But Buffalo and Baltimore are 2 teams where it's like, I don't even think I've honestly probably made like 3 Ravens videos in my life. I've probably made 3 Bills videos in my life because I don't know. I think maybe when you're starting on NFL or you're starting on YouTube, you go for more like lower key teams because like I'm a Packers fan, but I love a good underdog. Like I see a comment about we got the Bucks in here. We'll get to that Seahawks, Lions a few years ago. I feel like I'm more of like an underdog guy. Um, I don't even really make too many Chiefs videos. But I'm an NFC dude. I'm a Green Bay Packers guy, so I feel like the NFC is more of my conference. And I do find this year really interesting for all of these AFC teams not named Kansas City because obviously they just lost in the Super Bowl. But it's hard to get to a Super Bowl. It's hard to do it again, and it's hard to do it again. And Kansas City is always the AFC team, and it does feel like this is the year. And even as Flash is saying here, like first off, obviously you got Buffalo, you got Baltimore in here, and it just feels like it's anybody's race. And I feel like that's kind of, we got Flash here saying I have the Broncos winning the AFC, and I feel like that's like the way I view the NFL. Like I could give you literally probably all 32 teams in the NFL. I could tell you why they could do it. But we'll go alphabetical or chronological here. We got Rowdy in the chat. What's good? Seahawks win a playoff game. So I made a video the other day. It was a Mando sponsorship, and I did it with my face. And I was literally, I've got my helmets. They're all the way over there. 32 helmets. I've got the Cardinals here. I like doing teams that I've covered in the day. I'm just having it up. I'm a little outdated because I did like Arizona, New England, Atlanta today. But anyways, I made an NFC prediction video based on Super Bowl odds in my head, and I had Seattle as just missing the playoffs. And like, I feel so bad because I got so many comments about this as well. And like, you can't please everybody, but I got so many comments saying like, I knew it. I knew you're a clickbait guy because I had San Francisco as my last team in the playoffs before Seattle. All I will say is get a bottle of freaking helmets and try and predict the NFC as far as Super Bowl odds because it's way more difficult than you think. But I've been saying because the Seattle Seahawks were like the third NFL team I've ever covered. I think my first video when I started taking it seriously, I had just graduated college. It was fall of 2022. I just moved to Fort Myers, Florida with my buddy. And NBA content was not working. If you guys didn't know, I first got my kind of name out there making actually Houston Rockets content. And then that trended to the NBA, and it just wasn't paying anything. And the NBA is a pain in the ass. I did an NBA show with my boy Ciro Aseo, and we would do the NBA show every day for an hour. And I got pretty burnt out of the NBA. But to keep it a buck with you, I would say the NFL is my true love, and the MLB is kind of right below there because I'm a Chicago Cubs fan, and I was born and raised going to like, because my family, like my dad, I was going to like 5 to 15 Cubs games a year. And so when I first started covering the NFL, I think my first ever video, I think I made actually like 2 Vikings videos and then a Jets video and then a Seahawks video. And I remember telling my buddy who I lived in Fort Myers with, because it was a rough time. I just graduated college. I had no idea what I was doing in my life. YouTube was not paying anything. And I was like, for some reason, I made a Seahawks video, and my buddy's a huge Florida Gator fan. And like I said, we live in Fort Myers, and they were playing the University of South Carolina, which is where a lot of my dad's side of the family went. And he was like, let's go to this game. I'll buy us tickets. And I kind of had this thought, like, if this video does not do well, I am not going to this football game because I have to figure out how the hell to pay rent and all that stuff. Because we were like a month or 2 living in Florida. And my Seahawks video, like literally like my 4th ever NFL video, it got, and it's up there somewhere, it got like 70,000 views. And that was like the first real catalyst that, kind of got me going into the NFL and making consistent NFL videos. So the Seahawks are one of those teams that I absolutely love. And as a Packers fan, you guys have ruined my whole childhood life. I swear. You in San Francisco have ruined my life. And for the last 3 years, I've predicted the Seattle Seahawks to win the NFC West. Like, literally, like, 3 straight years, I've predicted that. And so this year, I was like, maybe if I'm openly not saying this team will win the NFC West, maybe it will happen. So you have that, and then also the whole helmet debacle. I mean, you've got 16 helmets in front of you, and you're trying to figure it out, and you don't even start thinking about playoffs all the way until the end. And I had some Seahawks fans very upset with me, but I really do like Sam Darnold. I really do like Kubiak. And I love Mike McDonald. You know, obviously Seattle's defense was really good last season. JSN's a superstar stud, or at least people are about to know he's a superstar stud. So as far as Seattle winning a playoff game, not only would I love that, but I also wouldn't disagree with you there. Derek Stingley, my dark horse DPOY, Defensive Player of the Year. I like that. Dude's one of the best cornerbacks in the National Football League, obviously. And especially for my Rocket guys, because they're all Texan guys, I wouldn't mind that one bit. As far as like MVPs go, Offensive Player of the Year or Rookie of the Year or stuff, I don't really put too much merit into that. Because I watch ESPN, dude. I watch FS1. I watch these dudes, and I just know they don't know what they're talking about. Like, it's easy when you cover the NFL to listen to somebody talk about a team you know very well and be like, that's flawed. You know, that's just flawed. I do need to make a Texans video. Don't do baseball betting. That's the hardest sport. Yeah, I don't I don't recommend betting for anybody. Like I said, I'm a golfer, so I do bet like golf. There's 4 majors a year, so I usually bet the 4 majors. I usually do like $20 a day, and I usually end up losing $80 a week. But at 26, dude, like betting, man, especially like parlays, you are better off, honestly, to be a boomer. You're better off investing it, and that's actually a fact. But not to be like a super old boomer. I'm just not a betting guy. And I feel bad talking about it for our younger viewers. All right, we got Flash's hot take here. We got some cats in the chat. What's up, Dominic? We got Bagels Forever. That sounds phenomenal. All right, I'll start to run through these because we're like 10 minutes behind chat. Keep throwing in hot takes. Keep throwing in comments. Life, football, doesn't matter. Keep throwing it in. I appreciate you guys very much. All right, Flash's hot take is defense will be the Bucs surprise this year. Last year it was the running game. I'm so glad you said that because, like I said, I live in Tampa Bay now, and I've been covering the Bucs for a few years on that Bucs channel since 2022. And there are players on the Bucs defense that you don't even know, or not saying Flash, but that people don't even know. And, you know, you could look at like, I'll look at theirs. First off, their offense was crazy. Liam Cohn had that offense running like crazy. And as Flash says here, they were, I swear, in like the first 3 years I covered the Bucs, they were like the worst rushing team in the NFL. And last year they were a top 5 group. And people are freaking out about the coordinators. I kind of am comparing it to the Lions, where it's like when you talk about the Lions losing Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, everyone brings up Philly from a few years ago. But I use the Bucs as an example where it's like the Bucs lost Dave Canales, their offensive coordinator from a few years ago in Baker Mayfield's first year with Tampa. They lose him. He goes to be the Carolina Panthers head coach. And people are freaking out because they're like, they just lost their offensive coordinator. They got their offense back on track. What happens? Liam Cohn runs an even better Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense. So when I look at this defense, I know their secondary was decimated by injuries. I know Antoine Winfield Jr. was decimated by injuries. And whenever he played, he wasn't playing like Antoine Winfield Jr. I look at guys like SirVocea Dennis and Tyke Smith that your average non-Bucks fan, rightfully so, just doesn't know who these dudes are. So I do agree with you because I think Tampa, even if they lose a step and they're not a top 5 rushing group, Baker Mayfield's still Baker Mayfield. They had a great draft. They got the dude out of OSU. It's still going to be, and even if you're pessimistic, it's still going to be a top 10 offense. It's going to hover at worst around top 10 offensively. Well, defensively, just even based off of pure health, not even Kalijah Cansey entering year 2, Servassier Dennis not being injured, Antoine Winfield Jr. not being injured, all these moves. They got Benjamin Morrison, they got Izzy, and they got a bunch of studs in their secondary through the draft. Tampa, I really think, is going to be a very good football team. And not even as a Tampa Bay native, or not a native because I'm a Chicago native, like when we talk about dark horses, like that's an actual definition of a dark horse. And then I like your follow-up take here. The Broncos winning the AFC would be awesome. The defense, like it was last season, should be insane again. And Bo Nix, I find it interesting when we talk about players like Bo Nix. I hear it a lot with Bo Nix. I hear it with Drake May. I hear it with Caleb Williams. I hear it with Jaden Daniels, any rookie quarterback last year. People bring up the sophomore slump. Like it's like almost their go-to. Like Denver and Washington specifically, because they had so much team success with rookie quarterbacks. I always hear the word sophomore slump. And I'm like, you guys didn't even think Bo Nix was doing good until the season ended. So Denver winning the AFC, I will tell you, is obviously a hot take for the title of this video, but it's not inconceivable, right? That's a really nice defense. And, RJ Harvey, hopefully JK can stay healthy, but the Broncos are a really cool team, and I really enjoyed watching them last season. NFC-wise, it could go either way, Eagles, Rams, but I'm going with my head thinking it'll be Lions, Rams, NFC Championship. I like that a lot. In that video I keep talking about, I had the Philly Eagles as the number 2 team, and I predicted Detroit to win the NFC. I'm curious how Philly does this season. I am, because we all know Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts gets actually a lot of hate, which is very surprising because, like, for me, when I was in high school, I remember watching that game. Like, I remember watching Jalen Hurts and then get benched for Tua. Like, I just remember that. And then I obviously remember him going and transferring to Oklahoma because everybody thought the dude was going to drop off a cliff. And he does good at Oklahoma. And he brings Philly 2 Super Bowl appearances in 3 years and wins them a Super Bowl last season. But obviously, as we always hear in any sport, it's hard to do it. And it's even harder to do it again. So just as a non-Philly guy, I think it would be cool if Philadelphia held it easy this season and doesn't just dominate the NFC and doesn't just do their thing and go 14-3 and just makes the NFC championship again, just from a football standpoint. But the Detroit's there with me. We keep talking about Tampa. Like I said, dude, I love football, and I could genuinely give you a reason for every team. No disrespect, but I could give you a team in the NFC of why they could do it, other than probably the New Orleans Saints. And once again, just to keep it a buck with you, it's probably more because I have not done my due diligence and research with the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to mute this because I'm worried this lamp's going to. All right, hopefully that's better. I don't know. On my TV, it's bright. It is so bright. Oh my goodness. Bagels, dude. I knew you were up to something because I too love bagels. And I too would love the Green Bay Packers to win the NFC North. Hopefully everybody stays healthy. Jordan Love stays healthy, and they can take down some NFC North opponents. Dude, maybe I'm in my head about this, but I look like I'm on cloud 9. But oh, It's I'm tweaking. I'm tweaking. All right. We got Dominic in here. Bengals. Oh, we got Bengals going all the way. This is our year. Another team in the AFC I absolutely love. I love Joe Burrow, Joe Shiesty. I love Joe, Jamar Chase. I mean, the offense goes without saying. Coordinators, like I said, kind of with the Lions is super interesting to me because you look at a team like the Lions losing their coordinators because people compare it to Philly a few years ago and being like, okay, it's over. And then you look at a team like the Cincinnati Bengals losing Coach Lou on their defensive side as far as coordinators go. And it's like, I kind of think it's time, right? It's just time. It was time for that to happen. It was just time. And so I think the defense will be better off, even just with the simple addition of a new defensive coordinator, which is so rude to Coach Lou because he's one of the best in the business, truly. And that Super Bowl from a few years ago, will never be forgotten. You could be like, oh, it'll be forgotten because they lost. But, I know Coach Lou knows what he's doing on defense, but that youth resurgence, Shamar Stewart, man, there are a lot of people I really love and respect in the YouTube, Twitter, NFL coverage people wise that, really honestly had Shamar Stewart as a top 10 pick this upcoming season. And in return, has me also very big on Shamar Stewart. So as an NFL guy, the Bengals winning a Super Bowl that would never upset me. Maybe if you're beating my Packers. Right. Jaden Daniels, MVP. No sophomore slump for you. Basketball is my top sport. Man, I feel like, Derrick Rose is a Chicago kid. D Rose got me into basketball. I really had no interest, which is funny as a Chicago kid with Michael Jordan. Am I like tripping? I look like I'm an angel. Hello. But I don't know, dude. My Bulls haven't been good in a while. And I don't really love the game of basketball anymore, to be honest with you. I think basketball is one of those things that I love to play. I don't know, dude. I don't really know if I'm losing my love for basketball or the NBA. I feel like I just didn't really have that love to begin with, which is so odd because, like I said, Derrick Rose, you would watch that on cable television. Like I would watch the Bulls my whole childhood. So maybe I just need the Bulls to be good to get back into the NBA. A little bit of a Seahawks fan. That ain't never hurt you. That ain't never hurt you. Watching Seattle without DK isn't going to be the same. There's a lot of moves. I feel like that's always the joke is like a kid like playing like the new Madden or the new 2K and all these players are on different teams and you're literally 12 years old so you don't even almost know that happened. But watching George Pickens in a Cowboys jersey is super odd. Every time I see like a tweet, it's like, oh, I forgot about that. And when I think of DK Metcalf, I'm almost thinking of my boy Aaron Rodgers, and I'm like, ooh, I like that. But then when I think of it for like Seattle, I'm making a Seahawks video. It's like, damn, that is crazy. Stuff like that happens every single season, and good for business. Maybe it's bad for business, but that is true. Seeing DK in a live Steelers jersey is going to be interesting. Buffalo Green Bay Super Bowl. It'll feed families. It would feed families. It would feed this family. I appreciate you, Concept. Sorry, I'm super late. I appreciate every single one of you throwing all of these takes. All right, I'll pick it up a little bit. But Buffalo Green Bay in the Super Bowl. Oh my God, dude. You don't even know how much I would love that. My girl's family is from New York, and it's the non-New York City side, so it would be more Buffalo side. And I feel like I was just told that there were like rumors or speculation that Buffalo was going to go to Canada. I don't really like care about Canada. If there's any Canadians watching this, it's not like I don't care about Canada, but it's like if the Buffalo Bills rebranded and moved to Toronto, I don't even like know what I would do. And I'm not a Bills fan. Like Josh Allen's cool. He used to follow my golf company, Golf Balling. He's a big golfer, and I like Josh Allen, and that would just literally be insane. But Packers Bills would actually be nuts. So the Eagles, yeah, the Eagles lost both coordinators and still had success. And what did they go like 9-0 or 8-1, 9-1, whatever it was, and then they lost to what was it, Tampa in the playoffs? Wasn't it Tom Brady in the playoffs? Sometimes you get hit with, but my point is with Philly losing their coordinators because, like you said, they had success, but I think they lost to Tampa in the playoffs in the wild card round. I think it was more of like Philly was 8-1 or 9-1, and it was kind of like the Steelers being like 8-1 or 8-0 with Ben Roethlisberger, where you're watching these games and it's not like, okay, this team's winning the Super Bowl. Like they're literally going to make the Super Bowl, and it's so obvious. They had issues. They had their little tweet or or quirks. They had their little issues like every other team in the National Football League and every other contender does. And so, like you're saying, like I feel like it's lazy when people say the Detroit Lions are going to be worse because they lost their coordinators, because I can literally go watch the Washington Commanders divisional round game and be like, Ben Johnson, hey, look, I'm 26 years old. I weigh 160 pounds. What the hell do I know? But it's like, why is Jameson Williams throwing a football? He hadn't done that at any point in the season. Why are we whipping that out now? There was way too much as even a Green Bay Packers fan watching the Lions Washington Commanders game in the playoffs and being like, this, it's like a fever dream. It's like, what's going on? But I appreciate you, Concept. Eagles definitely deserve the ring. And that's the way I view it for literally any NFC team, specifically like my Packers and the Detroit Lions, where it's just like, it was Philly's year. You know, like I was upset when Green Bay got Philly in the playoffs in the wild card round or the first round. Was it a wild card round? It upset me because it's like, ugh, I don't really want to do it. I know the Packers can win that football game, but at the same time, and obviously it ended up being Philly's year, and it's just like one of those things where it's probably how a lot of AFC teams feel about Patty Mahomes the last few years, where it's like, it's just almost nothing you can do. I love Dan Campbell too, man. I really do. You're not a Broncos fan. You're a Bo Nix fan. I like that a lot. I very much enjoy that comment. Eagles keep getting top tier defensive players at the bottom of the first round. It's crazy what drafting does. Like it truly is. Even like Jalen Carter a few years ago, I remember like people wanted Jalen Carter to fall so much because of, and to be honest with you, I don't really remember the issues at Georgia. I know he had issues at Georgia, but like I know that dropped his stock, and that's just like he's probably the best at his position, and if he isn't, he's about to be. It's just truly crazy, and I do love world-class organizations, and what Philadelphia does in the draft is like along those lines. It's like, damn, dude, you guys just keep doing it. You keep doing it. You got AJ Brown, you got AJ Brown is like, statistics aside, because I'm sure he's a phenomenal statistical dude, but it's like this guy's a superstar. I mean, what he does versus what they don't do when he doesn't play, it's crazy. It's astronomical. And it's hard to imagine the Eagles slamming again, or it's hard not to imagine the Eagles slamming again this year, and it's 100%. And I'm not going to wish ill will, but I agree with you, and I'm hoping it's not the case. I watched Jalen Hurts through his Bama and Oklahoma days, hardest working and great. Like his character is crazy, and I feel like people almost think that's like an oversell with quarterbacks. It's like he's a good character, and it's like no, that's actually true. That's actually how it works. Jalen Hurts, world class person and a world class athlete. And to be honest with you, from a fan's perspective, I wish him nothing but success. But hopefully, in those years, Green Bay is not contending. You did boot camp in Chicago. That's very cool. Thank you for your service. I'm curious. You don't have to share where, but I'm curious where that occurred. What receivers are making Green Bay's roster? Well, I'll pull it up for you even, but do we have a close comp? All right, Romeo Doubs, Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed, Christian Watkins, Savion Williams, Dontavian Wicks. Okay, I get the comment. Because teams will not usually carry 7 wide receivers. I will just say, well, to be honest with you, I don't know what the injury is looking like because Christian Watson's obviously injured. Malik Heath, he's one of those guys who was not appreciated in college, goes to Green Bay undrafted, and it's like, yeah. So that would really suck. McColl gets me thinking about special teams. I don't really have much. No disrespect to Cornelius Johnson, Sam Brown, Will Shepard. I guess I don't really know what happens with Christian Watson with his roster spot. Or you guys can't even see the screen. But I really like Malik Heath, but it's going to be obviously Romeo, Matthew Golden, and Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Christian Watson, Savion Williams. I'm excited about those guys. Reed, Golden, Dobbs, Watson when he's healthy. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you, Bagels. Like I said, man, I feel like it's super collegey here, but I actually think if this wall is good enough, I think the Aaron Rodgers jersey, just because like it has to be framed, or if it's on the wall and it wants to look good, it should be framed. But I love Guns N' Roses. Do I have my bandana? I usually do my golf podcast with my bandana. I do have my bandana. And people really hate on my hair. I know I need a haircut, but I got my bandana for Axl Rose. November Rain is probably my favorite song of all time. So I'll just throw that in there. And my lady got me into Def Leppard about a year or two ago. Hey, slightly above average. What's good? All right. I like to play it informally, but not watch. Same thing with baseball. DK's going to go off. I'm going to check out. Appreciate you, Flash. Sorry, we're 8 minutes late to this comment. Ooh. We got some good ones. Chat's kind of dying down because it's 2 a.m. To be honest with you, I'm dying down. I quit. I get the hiccups. I quit Sins. Because first off, they're making me feel bad. As you can kind of see right now. And I also have bad gum genes. So I'm trying to not zin. But it was my birthday yesterday, or now 2 days ago. So I bought a little tinny. To be honest with you, dude, I really like the Vikings. That was apparent last season. I mean, the roster is still crazy. I'll pull up their depth chart right now. I mean, the roster is still crazy. You know, unfortunately for the Vikings, it's just kind of one of those, like, I don't even know if, like, the Broncos are a good comparison. Because I get it. He sat and he still got drafted. So I get it. He's not entering his rookie campaign, but he pretty much is. So you have to kind of like temper my expectations as far as like a win-loss record goes. I was very big on Manny last season. I've, like, to be honest with you, I've never met a Minnesota Vikings fan in like a negative way. I could say the same with Detroit. Like I am born and bred in Chicago, so I know how those fans are. I don't know how my fans are, although I think there's nothing like going to a Lambeau Field home Packers game. To be honest with you, I think the amount of respect that Packers fans give you is crazy. But my buddy went to University of Minnesota, and we would visit. I was just in Minnesota a few months ago. I love that city. It's one of my favorite cities I've ever been to. It's almost like Pittsburgh on crack, but like a good crack. It's like, ooh, yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful skyline. There's so much nature. The people are awesome. I really enjoy the Minnesota Vikings as a Green Bay Packers fan. And I look at all the interior offensive line moves that this team made. Donovan Jackson, Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, and that's such a difference maker. So I like the Vikings. Maybe JJ starts off slow and they get it going at the end, but like it sucks because it's a 14-win team, and it's like the only thing I truly care about this upcoming season is how does JJ McCarthy look. But even like Isaiah Rodgers on defense, I think that's such an underrated move. He got really shafted from gambling a few years ago. He was kind of on his way. He did a really nice kind of role player role in Philly last season, so I like that. And the linebackers are crazy. Ivan Pace Jr. I was huge on him when he went undrafted free agent to Mini. And this is a team I just don't really see doing bad. But it's one of those things where it's like if JJ is ready, the Vikings are ready. But if it takes him a little bit of time, I understand that. And I would probably assume it. And it might be one of those second half teams. But the roster and the coaching staff around him it makes it tough. Because it's like, not even to like rag on him, but it almost reminds me of like Brock Purdy in San Francisco a few years ago, where it's like I wouldn't be surprised if they went like 11-6. I would assume they'll be above 500. I guess that's a hot take. Yeah, dude. Making that bread. I don't even think this is monetized. I mean, even just to give you a gist, I don't even think a live stream would make more than $1 at this point. At this point in the channel. But I had, like I said, at the beginning of this live stream, I have an alt channel. It's called Will Upton Alt. I had an Instagram account that I made when I was in my last semester of college, and I ran it up. Like it was a joke. I ran it up to about 320,000 followers, and I lost it for BS Instagram Meta BS on July 6th. So it's been a tough 3 weeks. And I just took them to small claim court, which is like, oh my God, dude. I feel like a dork even saying I took Meta to small claims court, but I did that on Friday, and it honestly released the craziest burden ever. But as far as staying up, man, I feel like I do better at night, but I know it's an issue. I'm kind of making TikToks that you'll see on YouTube on record predictions. I kind of said this at the beginning. It's like it's tough because you can't please everybody, and like I could come out here and say like I'll use the Vikings because we have it on, or I guess we used to have it. We were just talking about them. I could come on the camera and be like, the Vikings will go 7-10 this upcoming season, and it would be people would have an issue with that. I said I'm bullish on the Seahawks, and I unfortunately had them out of my playoffs in my off the dome predictions with my helmet video a few days ago, and I got a lot of backlash on that. So I'm only 2 teams in. Arizona, I have 10-7, and Atlanta that I have 9-8, and it's like I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, will I even have a team below 500? Because, like I said, I think I could tell you why every team will succeed other than the New Orleans Saints, and it's more because I don't know the New Orleans Saints, and I'm sure if I did a little bit of research for a day, I could give you a reason why they could do it. So I'm like a fair weather fucking. Thank you, Ross. Appreciate you. You guys help a lot because I'm not gonna change that wall, but this wall is gonna be changed a little bit. I got a nice little thing I got in the keys. I don't even really want to. I think we're gonna wrap it because I'm kind of getting a little tired. This is gonna. Oh yeah, that was a mistake. I was in Key West a year ago, and I bought this for like $20. I had some family visit me in Florida, and they turned this into a poster. It's like almost like the greatest in purchase I've ever made. And so this will go on this wall here. This could be loud. Hey, 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 hey. Ooh. Can you even see this? Not really. Oh, right here. All right. Oh, ugh. Like a fucking cat. Bagels is headed now. A bagel sounds way too good. We're also gonna head out. But I appreciate you guys all watching or listening to this. Like I said at the beginning, I love doing this. I want to create the brand more. I just love live streaming. I just love this kind of stuff. And we've done 20 of these, so I guess I've done it at a decent rate, but I want to grow the brand. You know, we're getting close to 100K, and it's just like not even that subscribers matter. But I love making NFL content. I love talking about the NFL, and I love live streaming. And so, you know, I made that alt channel that I'll link in the description or the comment section. Once this is live, you can listen to this on Spotify and Apple because I'll post it there. And that's really it. We'll see you soon. Oy, I need that light. Being too positive is a good thing. You're an optimist. I'm the same way with my Steelers. I get so much hate. I appreciate you, and I'll end on this concept for concept. I made a Steelers video last year. I was so big on the Steelers 1 year ago, and someone memed my. It was a clickbaity title because it gets dead, man. You got to do what you got to do. I've tried to steer away from clickbait. But it was like, I think it was actually the Pittsburgh Steelers will be scary good. And somebody memed it. Some Steelers guy memed it on Instagram with like the SpongeBob roller coaster where it literally goes like that. And it's actually not even like that. It's like this and that. And it got like 100,000 likes. I was getting flamed in the comments. I was like, I didn't even know people knew the name Will Upton. So the Steelers are one of those teams very similar to the Seahawks where I just could not say anything bad. To be honest with you, it's because I believe it. I like the Steelers. I love Aaron Rodgers. I think it's the Steelers' time, man. We'll end it there. I appreciate y'all watching, and we'll see you soon. Peace.